Hey, welcome everyone. This is John with a latest installment update on the Person Algo Optimizer. We just released version 15, which has a lot of different functions to allow one to backtest studies and to optimize finding out what is really the best signal. Should we wait for a last conditional change breakout? Should we take high and low close dojis in of themselves? And so it really, do we take reversal signals, meaning if something is already long, do we hold it? All kinds of interesting functions to help get the most out of a trading system, or at least trading signals. This is a little optimization strategy that was put together for Amazon, and over the last, and I just brought in the performance graph. Everyone can kind of see this here. This goes back since just the last, well, let's call it year and 2.5 months, so to speak. Performance summary looks pretty decent, and as you can see, it's almost a 3 profit factor, which is pretty decent, and it has approximately over 52% wind, and it's a pretty good swing trading model. As you can see, the equity curve is doing pretty nicely. Anyway, this just had gotten out of a long position. Ironically, what's neat about this getting out of the long position, it hit its max bars, and as it says, max trading bars. So it just got out of a max average bars. It does that a lot. It's designed for a swing trade, and if it trails a stop, that's one thing, but it's designed to get out on average of these little swing moves that have taken place. So just wanted to give you an update of how the performance is, and again, certainly done quite well. Let's move into some other strategies that we're looking for. What I think is really appealing about this as well is that directional option traders were using this to maybe capitalize on knowing what the risks of the trade are. In fact, if you look here, it shows the long entry right here. The orange level is where the stops would go. So if the market doesn't, if you understand that it's going to probably take a decent profit, and if you look here, you can say, well, over the next few days, this should be the upside objective. If we get a buy signal and that's our stop, and what we don't know, of course, is will a reverse signal come in? Will a trailing stop function come in? That's why you got to kind of watch this. But you know that this would be a swing trading model, and so if it happens early in the week, you can use end of week weekly options. If it comes in at the end of the week, you can use the following week weekly options and trade directionally. So it's I think going to be a very incredible value added function for options traders. Let's look at some other products that we've put up some strategies on. All right, this is our signature VXX. When everyone who had purchased the Algo Optimizer and went through training, they had and received this file with the exact settings for and the programming for the VXX. The VXX is an ETN, exchange traded note, that trades on the volatility. And again, unlike the XIV, which is now gone away with, this particular product unfortunately did go long before the big upside move or the crash that everyone talked about. The problem is that it trailing stop feature kicked in, and when the market continued to go up, the risk per trade settings would not allow it to get back in on the long side. But it went short, it got out. It went long, it took a profit. It took a long, it got out with a small loss. It went short, it got out nicely. As you can see, it's had a couple little trades. It went short, it got out. It went long and got out. It went short and just got out, and now it's in a long position. And what does this mean? It's an all-time new equity high. The performance for this, let's take a look at it. Yeah, new equity high for this product. And yes, this is the performance for since January of 2010. So it's a pretty serious model, a great equity curve, and the signals are responding quite nicely. So we're pretty pleased with this particular product. So with that said, let's take a look and see how things are turning for other markets right now. So this year we focused ourselves, at least in mid-January, we noticed that there was a little bit more volatility in the Dow, the mini Dow futures, less noise than the S&P, meaning less market gyration, fake signals, etc., etc. This is a 15-minute system, and its performance year to date in riding through all that incredible, insane volatility is doing quite nicely. And the only difference is that this system only trades 2 contracts. That's the performance since of the execution of the 15-minute mini Dow system that we've put together. Not too bad. Some drawdown here. This got just absolutely crazy. I mean, this was sick. Just upside 2 lots, right? I mean, most people can't take 2 lot. Now this trades all trading hours. So this has certain parameter settings of start and stop times, when it takes trades, when it doesn't take trades. I'll share some of that with you right now. So this is the Person Algo system, what we've created via the use of TradeStation. As you can see, this starts trading 2:15 Central Time to 3:30 Central Time. That's change time. That's CME time. It does not exit end of day, so we have to manually make sure that our trades are flattened for the weekend, or let this run at your own risk. But the position calculated method, notice that we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. So it's set at number 3, which means it only trades 2 lots. There's a lot more. As you can see, here's our little scroll button, and there's a lot more settings that we have. Money management, of course, risk reward ratios, trailing stop functions, and things of that nature. But for the most part, this is a dynamic trade system. And as you can see, just for today coming in, even yesterday, takes a buy signal, gets out, got a short, got stopped out, got a little chopped and chewed, and you can see that chop and chewed. This purple line represents open trade equity. The green line represents closed trade equity. And even though there's been a couple losers along the way, you see that one thing it has in common is that the market has increased in its performance as far as closed out profit. Long position gotten out, short trade gotten out. You see this double dual line because there is a function here where we get a scale out and it trails the stop, and when that is activated, unless the max profit or a reversal is taken, it gets out of both trades. So, or if the profit target, as it's labeled here, is hit. So we are right now in a situation where we just entered a trade. It's short 2, and this thing could reverse. It might get out. I mean, by the time we get this video completed, it's hard to say. Because whether or not this thing's going to crash and burn, I would have to say that at this point in time, it would more than likely, since we've already seen a market go down and then up, and it's now broke down, if it doesn't move according to a certain time event, in other words, if so many bars go by and nothing happens, it'll exit the trade. But I think that's the key element about a trading system, is that you got to put things in place to say, if I'm in a trade and it doesn't move, then get me out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to give an update as to what is going on in the marketplace and what the Algo Optimizer is doing. Again, we've been extremely busy. The Orlando Money Show was a couple weeks ago. We presented there. Then we were in New York last week at the Traders Expo. Had a wonderful audience that enjoyed the presentation on what goes into an algo optimizing system, and then again keeping up with our regular day job trading, and of course our advisory service, which is doing stellar this year based on our research and the way we look at things. In fact, I'll share some with you right now. A couple things that we're looking at moving forward is looking for, again, a few more items in our trade positions, like we have one here that we just picked up, which is Spirit Airlines. I know it sounds crazy, Spirit Airlines. If you've ever flown them, you're sitting there knocking your head against the wall. But something was magical, and we generated a buy signal. The market pulled back, allowing us to get filled, and now the market's moving up. We have a position in Kellogg's. That's right, Kellogg's, Tony the Tiger. We're up about 6% on that. Hewlett-Packard Enterprises. We got in there before earnings at around $15.92, and we've gotten out of half the position, trailing stops. Philip Morris got in on a dip last week at 104 and change. We're at 107. We tried to get into ConAgra before the announcement this week. It was one of our recommendations. We're long Bank America, CHD, Church & Dwight, another staple. They make baking soda. We just missed getting in by 6 cents. IWM, long that, been posting that on the Twitter account. Many of you have probably seen that. Let's take a look at those tweets. Yeah, so we talked about the move here with the Algo Optimizer, and which is pretty neat because we posted out that this thing was short the market, as you can see, trying to bring that into focus. So it had been short a new equity high. We had not so sexy utility sector was up with Entergy and NRG leading the pack, which is pretty crazy considering the real strengths coming in Micron and Triple D. We also been sharing how our PPS indicator, which is crazy. There's the PPS arrow, the buy signal on TripAdvisor, showing how you can utilize, and we'll talk about this in a webinar we're conducting on Thursday, actually shows up and posted on your mobile trading app. So if you're into mobile trading app. But here's what I wanted to say is that we had a milestone. FDN, the Dow Jones Internet ETF, made a new high, as did XSW, software ETF. We talked about the IWM, and that's the point here. We've been talking about the IWM. By the way, there's a real handsome crowd that we had, and it just started to fill in. I guess another session must have exited out because this was standing room only at the back by the time we got off the stage. But again, look at this, February 26th. Check your emails. Another IWM. So we've been focused on IWM and the Russell because that's what our analysis has been suggesting, that the IWM will outperform the broad markets. And in fact, today, it's exactly what's doing. And you'll notice that we actually have this little high closed doji, that orange bar, that signifies bullish buying system. And this is the person market catcher, and you'll notice that the relative strength versus the S&P, it's outperforming. It's bright blue. So the small cap growth sector is outperforming the market. Let's take a look at one other metrics here. And you'll notice something that's pretty unique today in today's action. With the identification of looking for the Russell to go up, we're looking for it to outperform blue chips. And look at this, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is live. It's negative on the day. This is positive on the day. That's what we call outperformance. So if you have money to invest, where do you want to put your money to work? In Dow component sector or growth stock, small cap? The breadth of the market's starting to break out. This thing looks dynamic and looks ready that we could see follow through as we head into the middle of March. So keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. And again, as we continue with updates or continue with market changes, we will give you some updates as to what we're doing over here with the Person Algo Optimizer. It's extremely exciting, and it's so fascinating to see how this thing works and deliver real-time results. Take care. Thank you, everyone.